All right. So till now, we have discussed how requirements were handled without ERP. All the process is manual. It starts with determination of requirements and ends with the payment. Now we will see how the same process can be mapped in the SAP ERP and how it can be automated. So previous example, we have seen the production team manually sends a requirement to purchase through emails, calls, or Excel sheets. Now let's see how this happen inside in SAP using the MRP. Now, what is MRP? MRP stands for Material Requirement Planning. So in SAP, we don't wait for someone to send the list manually for our procurement. The system itself checks the stock, future demand, production plan, and then automatically generates the requirement. And this process is called MRP, Material Requirement Planning. So MRP is a very big and very important concept, but here I will give you a simple high level understanding so you will clearly know why you use it and how it help in procurement. So MRP, we can call it as a planning engine or a planning process in SAP that ensures materials are available for production and procurement. And most important, that should be available at right time, in right quantity and right place. So simply MRP checks what is required, how much required, and when it is required. So what is required? From where we'll get the requirement? We'll get the requirement from the sales order or from the bill of material. So now what is the bill of material? I will explain it later. But we'll get the requirement from the sales order. How much required? So based on the current stock, what is the current stock? Or if there is, we are expecting some items to come, that is open PO, open PR or PO. So I will explain in upcoming session what is PR, what is PO. Okay. When it is required, so based on the lead time and most important, the production plan. So as per the production plan, we will get to know the schedule. So MRP checks these three things and it creates the procurement proposal automatically. So MRP run like a calculation engine that answers these three questions. So SAP continuously compare what you need versus what you have and what's coming. So let's say you have a requirement of 100 quantity. Okay. And there is already stock 50 quantity. And we have open PO, PR of 20. Now tell me, what is the shortage here? 50 plus 20, 70 we have. 100 were required. So shortage is 20, 30. So if what you have, that is your current stock, what's coming, that is your open PO, if what you have plus what's coming is less than what you need, that's a shortage. And that's what MRP calculating. So in short, MRP help to maintain the perfect balance between the shortage and excess. So we have different logic to calculate the shortage. So that controls via MRP type. So there are generally three MRP types are used, or we can say that there are three MRP types. The first one is normal MRP, that is standard MRP. The second part is CBP, consumption based planning. And the third part that mostly comes under a PP, but as a SAP MM consultant, you should know what is MPS, production plan scheduling. Now, what is normal MRP, what is CBP, and what is MPS? Let's understand through an example. Let's say we have an end product, that is finished product. So first, we will see what is the bill of material. Bill of material, that is a structured list of all the components, assemblies, sub-assemblies, and raw materials that are required to manufacture the end product, that is finished product, that we call bill of material. So in bill of material, at top level, we have the, let's say here we have level 0, that is for finished product. Then we have level 1. Here we have major assemblies. Then level 2, here we have sub-assemblies. Or we may have components, not necessarily sub-assemblies. Okay. And there is level 3, where we have the all child components, or we can say it's raw material. Or basic parts, child component. Now, the level 0 finished product, let's say the finished product is car. In level 1, we have major assemblies. So like engine, the body, wheel, electronics, those will come as part of major assembly. And then there will be level 2 sub-assembly, for example, body. So we have a door, window, then there is a wheel, engine. So those are the major assemblies. And then we have sub-assemblies. So in again sub-assemblies, we have the wheels. So like a tire or rim, electronics, sensors, engine, piston, cylinder, those come under the sub-assemblies. And then finally, we have the raw materials. So what are the raw material required? Like bolt or a screw, those are the raw materials that will require in level 3. Now, here, what is MPS? So MPS is basically master production scheduling. Here we plan the critical component, or we can say we plan the finished product. So I will explain the MPS later. First, we'll focus on the normal MRP and CBP. So basic purpose of MRP is to calculate the shortage. And there are different logics and to calculate the shortage. So in SAP, the normal MRP, so for example, here as I say, product A, the finished product, and for that, we might require product B, C, D, those are the assemblies. And for those are sub-assemblies, again, we might have the again sub-assemblies. And again, for those, we may have the child components, child parts. So in normal MRP, we plan all the materials we will plan. In CBP, that is the consumption based planning, here we plan only the low cost material. So for example, in this case, I just give an example of car. So in the case of car, MRP plans all the dependent product, all the dependent materials based on the bomb structure. For example, how many engines, how many door, how many pistons are needed to manufacture the car. So all the products are planned under MRP. But in case of CBP, it is mostly used for the parts that are very low cost but high volume and which must have a stock, like screw, nuts, those part we always keep in stock. So how system understand whether this is part of MRP or CBP? So in SAP, we have MRP type, and this MRP type tells the systems how system plan the material requirement planning. It tells the system what logic to use when calculating the material shortage and when to trigger the procurement. So if MRP type is PD, the system will plan the material based on the demand and requirement that we are getting it from a sales order. If MRP type is VB, SAP won't look at demand, but it will create an order when the stock falls below at a fixed level. So at which level? So in SAP for CBP, we have two things. The first thing is safety point, safety stock. And reorder point. So let's understand what is the safety stock and reorder point. So safety stock, it is something like you always keep an extra petrol in your tank, not for today, but for emergencies. And that extra reserve, we call it as a safety stock. So it saves you if the petrol pump is closed or there is a delay, you can use that reserve stock, that safety stock. So safety stock is your emergency buffer. It protect against your uncertainty. And what is the reorder point? So the reorder point at which we decide to order the material and how it is calculated. So reorder point we calculate basically on the formula. What is average daily consumption multiply by what is your lead time plus safety stock. So for example, okay, so for example, let's say average daily consumption, we required 10 units per day. 10 units required per day, and the lead time is 5 days. So if I order a material today, it will take 5 days to receive the material. Now, and you have a safety stocks of 20. That means the 20 quantity you always want to be reserved. Safety stock is 20. Your average daily consumption 10 units per day, and the lead time is 5. So what will be the order point here? 10 into 5, 50 plus 20, 70 units. So when the stock falls below the 70, when the inventory falls the below 70 quantity, system will automatically propose the procurement. I hope that's the clear. Now there is what is MPS? So MPS is a production plan scheduling. So let's say imagine a company produces three models. Model A is for basic laptop, model B is for gaming laptop, model C is for business laptop. Now, the model B gaming laptop, the cost of this laptop is high and it has a high demand, high profit margin. So management want to plan it very carefully. And that's where we use the MPS. So what will happen? In MPS, we first plan the model B, okay, and the laptop is the finished product here. Once the MPS is executed, system generates a stable production plan for these key items, and then MRP will take over all the dependent materials that required to manufacture that laptop. So MPS planned for end product, while MRP take over and plan all the dependent material like the screens, keyboards, RAM, battery, all the small parts that required to manufacture the laptop. So MPS decide what laptop and assembly to produce, while MRP ensures all the component, the sub assemblies or all the components, raw materials that should be available on time. And MRP plus MPS, this two-step process help the business to maintain the steady production and avoid the stockouts, and it will respond to customer demand on time. So let me give you one general example of normal MRP, CBP, and MPS. Imagine you have a restaurant and there are 10 items in your restaurants. So in normal MRP, you plan everything, all the items required for every dish, rice, vegetables, spices, everything you plan for a normal MRP. What happened in MPS for items? Let's say you only have the main items you serve is biryani or pasta. So we'll plan those items first in MPS. You mark in the system as MPS and then plan the ingredients for those dishes later. In CBP, for items like tissues or cleaning liquids, these items we don't forecast the demand. You just reorder when they low run. That's MPS. So MRP, MPS, CBP. So MRP, we are getting the requirements or we are analyzing based on the future demand from the sales order. CBP based on the historic data, based on the consumption based previous consumption, we set the reorder point. And that's how we are getting the requirement in SAP. So now you know before SAP can plan anything, it first checks what is the material type, and accordingly that logic it used to calculate the shortage. So that's why setting this MRP type is in Material Master, it is one of the most important configuration and master data decision while material planning. So now I hope it's clear. MRP, MPS, and CBP. MRP plans the finished product, that is level 01. Sorry. So now you understand MRP, MPS, and CBP. So MRP plans the finished product. So now you understand MRP, MPS, and CBP. In bill of material, we have seen the level 0 material that can be planned through MPS, and the level 1 and 2 that can be planned through MRP. and the level 3 material that can be planned through CBP. So in one line, MRP plans everything needed for product. MPS first plan the most important products and then plan the component. And CBP buy when stock is low based on the past uses. That is CBP. So in generally, in real time, MRP is for the finished product, and for the low cost item, we use the CBP.